From family and flowers to finance and film, this is Joan Hamburg and New York City's Silver Linings, 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. If I had to think back and say, what is the most frequently asked question that I get? It's not where to eat in the theater district, although that's a top one. It's love. Where can I find a match? A man, a woman. How do I do this? Tell me about online dating. And I keep saying, I wish I could. It's like if I could put a new restaurant in the theater district, I would. If I could find you a partner, I would. However, Natalie Moore, whom you may think, because not only is she a relationship coach, a marriage and family therapist, a financial advisor, she comes to this task with a lot of credits. And she came up with a book called It's a Match, The Guide to Find Lasting Love. And Natalie says it's much more than just meets the eye. There are many levels of love. You have to really go through it, figure out who you are, what you want, where you're going. Where did you even get to this? Because you lived a different life.
Yes, I did. I was a financial planner, as you said, and I specialized in estate tax planning. So I worked with a lot of families, and I saw relationships come and go and everything else. And I was so good at working with the families, my clients said, go back to school and get a degree in marriage and family therapy. And so I did. And of course, one of my things that I was always very interested in was what lasting love. You see all these couples who've been married 30, 40 years, and they still look at each other with love in their eyes. And that really intrigued me because I was the poster child for bad relationships. So of course, I wanted to apply my economics training, which is creating a model for lasting love. And that's how I came to do this.
And that was not an easy task, right?
Oh, no. It took me about 10 years of informal research to find out what made for a lasting relationship. And I finally figured out what it was, and I created a model so that people could actually quantify and identify whether their relationship had the potential to be a lasting one.
So you literally, in It's a Match, take us through the various stages that we all have to go through if you want to find this. And who doesn't, right?
Well, of course. But you know what? It all begins with you. It begins with, we've always had relationships, and we keep repeating the same relationship pattern that we've had until we change something within ourselves. Because if you think about it, every one of our boyfriends or exes looks the same but has a different name. So it starts with becoming the best version of yourself. It starts with changing what's within you to become a different person by clearing limiting beliefs. For example, if you don't think you deserve a man who doesn't cheat on you, down deep, you're going to keep attracting a man who cheats on you. So it begins by identifying and clearing within us everything that needs to be cleared in order for us to find our true lasting love.
Though, it's interesting, Natalie. I run into so many women who really want a partner so much that they'll date down, which doesn't sound good, but they figured, it's okay, we'll adjust. And you take them through the 4 levels of love or even compatibility. So if you're in level 2, which means maybe you have a little something in common, but not much, a lot of people go for that, and it ends up as a disaster.
Yes, it does. First of all, the first thing I would do is say, what is it about you that makes you think you can't find your own level 3 or level 4 relationship, and that you have to date down? So we identify what they believe about themselves and relationships, but then the level 3 and level 4 relationships, as I said, are the higher level relationships that really result in lasting love. And they're known for their shared areas of intimacies and their 10 intimacies and shared core values. So those are the 2 most important things to make a relationship lasting.
So the very basic question, and I'm talking to Natalie Moore, who is a total professional in this and can answer all your thoughts and questions, is how do you even meet the woman or the man so that you can go through this process. In New York City, you go to any place where a lot of single people will be, and it's mostly women, unless it's the bar of a steakhouse, which
Right.
is all guys.
That's exactly right. What has happened, we have been very lucky because we're living in an era where we have online dating. Now, online dating can be the best or the worst.
And you go through all the different ones that exist.
Exactly. I go through that, but not only that, I show you how to succeed in finding the one instead of just another one. What happens is most people go out there and they put pictures of themselves showing breasts or 20 years and 10 pounds ago. And what happens is they find somebody who's looking for that person. But I teach you how to write your profile, what pictures to use, how to read between the lines of somebody else's profile. Because people tell you what they're looking for if you know how to identify what they're saying. So I teach you all of that in the book. I teach you how to go through every step, how to answer their emails, how to move from emails to the first date within the first 2 or 3.
And online dating, which is a factor in life. You know, years ago it was a little iffy. Now, don't the majority of people meet their partners that way?
Many people do. And I find that it's becoming more and more prevalent because, particularly after you graduate from college, people are busy working. And people who are out in bars during the week oftentimes tend to be alcoholics. So those are not necessarily what I would call great mate material. So what they do is busy people are online. And they work it like a science. And particularly if you're a very unusual woman or man, and you have, you're very talented in different areas, it's more likely that you will find your match online. But you have to know how. It's really a skills game. All of us have done it and failed. And so that's why I wrote this book, because I wanted to teach people how to succeed and find the one instead of just another one.
You know, I have a brother whose wife died fairly young, living in Florida, and he went online like everyone else, and he said the shocking part was almost everyone lied. They would use their high school pictures and they're 60. He would like, what's this about? Or literally exaggerate almost everything. So how do you get to the reality of whom you're going to meet or what you're going to meet?
Well, first of all, I believe that you start with honesty is the best policy. If you're looking for somebody, you don't want to attract someone who's looking for something else. You're wasting your time. So I believe that you should have pictures within 6 months, and you should state exactly what you want. If you want a long-term committed relationship leading to marriage, you should state that. If you just want a long-term partner or that's a lasting love, state that. But I do believe that once you start with the online process, you need to Google the person, you need to do background checks.
To really find out who they are.
Oh, yes. You'd be surprised at the things that you find on Facebook and Google.
And if you do, you go for your first date. And I know you talk about that.
Yes.
Where should you go?
Well, it's interesting because for me, there are 2 different places where you should go. The first date is really to see if the person looks the way they're supposed to, and if you have chemistry, if he was really the one who was writing all the letters. I call it the interview date. And I like to keep it for 30 minutes. So I usually ask them to meet for a glass of wine or for a cup of coffee. So in 30 minutes, you can see who's who. And if you like the person, you can make a second date. Or if you're going out for a glass of wine or a cocktail, you can then go to dinner if you like the person.
And do you find that online dating, which is probably the easiest way for people to date today, really produces results if you're persistent in any age range?
Oh, absolutely. I have many personal friends who have succeeded with online dating, and I have helped others succeed with online dating. I think it opens up the world, gives you millions of choices, where right now most people ended up in level 2 relationships, which resulted in 53% divorce rate, because they would meet, whoever they met at the bar, whoever they met at church, or whoever their friends introduced them to, and they would make it fit. So they actually would confuse shared interests with shared intimacies and core values. So if you had enough interests in common, you thought, oh, we could make this work. Well, it doesn't. So online dating, you have the whole universe available. And so you just have to know how to navigate through that field.
Which is very hard. And Natalie takes you through every single one of these, from Match to eHarmony to Tinder, which is the
the hookup site.
The hookup site. You have to be careful when you're going on. And now everything, I mean, you can be an elderly person and find a site. We have a client who is independent living, assisted living, the whole thing, and they've literally set up an online dating site for their community, and it works.
I totally agree with you. I think it's wonderful, and also people can be more open online. And so they can say, it's like a shopping list. This is what I'm looking for. This is who I am. And it's socially acceptable, where if you met somebody, in a cafe, it's not really quite acceptable to do that. So I believe in dating efficiency. We're all busy people. We all have things to do, but we are all looking for lasting love. And I think it's possible for everyone to find their lasting love.
You do?
Absolutely.
Everyone?
Everyone.
That's a very big statement.
It is, and I back it up. I think if you feel that you can't find one, then you have a limiting belief about yourself, relationship, or other people. And then if you address that, then I think that we can.
It's interesting. Beside online, we'll often have women in particular call us and say, I'm just giving up. I can't find anyone. And we'll say, well, you're not going to find them sitting at home or in your apartment. You've got to move yourself. We try to send them to take golf lessons or something. But besides online, where else should people go? Like we have museums, as you do, in Miami, and many of them have social nights, meaning they have a bar that stays open on a Thursday or a weekend. I'll send people there, but you're the expert. What are the best places beside online?
Well, I think that a confident, happy person attracts people. So you should find the things that you like and explore new passions. For example, if you want to learn how to paint, now is the time. Go take a lesson. If you want to learn how to sail, go take lessons. While you're doing things that make you happy and make you feel confident about yourself, you're more likely to run into people who have the same interests and who see you in this venue.
Are there red flags that we should be sensitive to?
Oh, there's so many. And so I wrote this book to be a comprehensive guide to dating. And what this means is that I have about 4 or 5 pages of tables of contents, one of which is red flag men.
I saw that.
Because there are so many red flags. For example, of course, we all know, whether it's online or offline, they're financial predators. They're also sexual predators, who, that's why I say don't put pictures of you with your children.
Uh-huh.
There are all kinds of red flag types of men, and I teach you how to identify them and how to be smart while you're going through the getting to know you process, whether it's offline or online.
If you want love, then you need to know Natalie Moore. It's a Match, the guide to finding lasting love. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Joan. I appreciate your time.
I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC, your love station.